Bello Matawalle Maradu, President Kasar Hausa Shatiman Daular Usmani.
Zamfara is a state in northwest Nigeria, and its capital is Gusau. Until its creation on 1st October 1996 by the then General Sani Abacha's regime, Zamfara was part of Sokoto State. It occupies 39,762 square kilometers, and it shares borders with Sokoto State and Niger Republic to the north, Katsina State to the east and Kaduna, Niger and Kebbi State to the south. Its appellation is farming is our pride. Zamfara State has 19 emirate councils with 10 first-class chiefs and 9 second-class chiefs. From its creation to date, it has had 4 democratically elected governors and a military administrator. Bello Matawalle Muradun assumed office as the 4th elected governor of the state on May 29, 2019. Following his quest for a peaceful Zamfara. On assumption into office, Governor Bello Matawalle's first assignment was to find the root causes of insecurity, especially armed banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, farmer-herders clashes, and other heinous crimes. Part of the step taken to stem the tide was the setup of a committee to unravel the causes of incessant attacks on innocent communities, highways, and other places. Other moves included reconciliation and granting amnesty to armed bandits, construction of a Ruga settlement to address farmer-herder clash, distribution of security operational vehicles to security agencies, establishment of community protection guards, installation of CCTV cameras at strategic points, and a situation room to monitor activities of criminal elements. These efforts by the Matawalle administration have translated to the relative peace currently enjoyed in Zamfara.
No governor in Nigeria that fought this banditry is Bello Matawalle. He has gone far to even dialogue with the bandit to see that our people sleep with their 2 eyes closed. When that fails, we tried all avenues. He has expended a lot of money to ensure that security is restored in the first state. He has been expending a lot of money on security personnel. We even started a program where we employ ends along the, we call them security guards across the 14 local government, where we employ services about 300, at least 300 in each of the local government. And we have been paying the stipend, monthly stipend of 10,000 naira as monthly stipend. That means about 4,200 ends along the were employed. That village security guard to complement the effort of the military, the police, the civil defense, and this and that. And that has worked.
The issue of security, is something that requires huge amount of money. You always, if there is any operation, you must pay. If there is casualty, you must take them to hospital. You must give them food for those who has been displaced, even though the federal government is doing its best. But the first, their first contact is the state. So we did very well in reducing the burden, and also in getting people returning back to their homes. As you can see, what we have made the state is different from what it is now.
The way Governor Matawalle handling the security issue, no any person in this time that can handle that. He did all what he can do to ensure Zamfara are living peacefully, the insecurity become history.
We were able to use modern technology to see how we tackle insecurity within the state. CCTV camera has been installed in the central capital of Zamfara state, and we're able to use that technology to pinpoint all criminal activities within the central metropolis. We're able to use some drone technology to help the security personnel to identify those criminals that are well armed and that they cannot be reached immediately when anything is happening in the state. So under His Excellency Governor Matawalle Maradon, we're able to use a lot of technological advancement to help curtail the insecurity we're having that is facing Zamfara state. We thank His Excellency for the wonderful job in this regard, and we appreciate him for making more effort and investing more in technology so that at least we can use it to reduce the insecurity in the state. And alhamdulillah, you can see using this technology, we're able to overcome a lot of challenges.
The Matawalle-led government has uncovered 5,000 ghost workers, tracked contract inflation sums, and established a due process office to address corruption.
When we came in, we look at the issue of salary. It's something that is very, very difficult. We find out that there is paycheck diversion, fake alteration, and ghost names. We introduce a data update to update the record of civil servants, and equally to identify those who are entitled to be in the payroll and those who should be eliminated completely. We go through thousands of records. That is the form that we have sent to various ministries. We collected almost 30,000 data, and we clean up more than 5,000 in the payroll, including those who are due for retirement or overdue for retirement, has not retired, and we ask them to go. And those who have no business in receiving salary, we ask them to leave. We made a burden of almost 8 billion of gratuity from both state and local government. We look at also all non-essential expenditure, we eliminate them so that we can be able to meet our obligation by paying salary, paying pensioners, running the government.
In education, the administration has provided conducive learning environment, built modern primary and secondary schools across the 14 local government areas of the state, trained and retrained teachers, and offered scholarship for Zamfara indigents to study home and abroad. Governor Matawalle also secured the release of examination results held for 4 years before he assumed office due to the accumulated examination fees.
In trying to regain the confidence of the examination bodies across the country, notably West African Examination Council, that's WAEC, and National Examination Council, NECO, NAFTEP, and MBIAS. These were examination bodies that, before the coming of his administration, had already written Zamfara off their radar. But alhamdulillah, on his assumption to office, he had rekindled their hope. The large sum of WAEC fees for the students of Zamfara State, amounting to about 345 million naira, 148,350 naira, were paid upfront, even before the students started writing the examination. That achievement had never been recorded in the history of Zamfara State until the coming of Bello Matawalle. He also took a giant stride in paying upfront 200 million naira to secure the release of examination results of Zamfara State students that had been withheld for the past 3 or 4 years before the coming of his administration. He was the only governor that took the initiative to remove the gap between those privileged children and those of non-privileged children of Zamfara State indigents by sponsoring about 200 students to study overseas with full government scholarship. That achievement was only recorded during his time.
Classrooms were constructed, schools were renovated, teachers were employed. I think over 4,000 of them were employed. So a lot of things is done. When we came in, the issue of backlog for WAEC and NECO was high. It was over 2 point something billion. And results were not released.
The administration constructed 147 primary health care centers equipped with modern facilities and tricycle ambulances given to each of the primary health cares to address emergency cases. The move is aimed at ensuring every Zamfara citizen residing in the state has access to quality health care with qualified health personnel recruited in addition to the ones on ground.
I can attest to the fact that he has done a great job in improving primary health care delivery services in the state. And I want to relate this with the fact that when he assumed the position of leadership, he promised to improve or to give a special consideration to the lives of women and children. And he now realized that the primary health care is the area that he needs to focus on, because those are the people, those are the organization that is responsible for healthcare delivery services, especially at the primary level, and the one that actually takes care of all women and children. His Excellency, in assumption in office, one of the greatest achievements he did was the establishment of one functional PHC per ward. So he successfully constructed 147 PHCs across 147 wards, which are manned by the primary health care and which are meant to provide basic healthcare delivery services in the state. So he has successfully achieved infrastructural development. Initially, we were having 625 PHCs, but on assumption in office, he constructed additional 147, which now made it to be 705, and then he added another comprehensive PHCs, 14 per LGA. So that's one per LGA. If you look at that one, they are the ones that we consider to be comprehensive PHCs. His Excellency has also done a tremendous job there. He took it one after the other. The emergency transport system have two stages, the secondary and the primary. On the secondary aspect, the secondary health care, we bought ambulances across the 14 LGAs. Brand new ambulances across the 14 LGAs to all the secondary health care facilities. Now, looking at the majority of our populace live in communities and rural areas, he now bought 147 tricycle ambulances, which are now being distributed across the 147 wards. So in terms of emergency transport system, we find out that it's one of the very, very eloquent achievements.
We have many things that we use as in delivery beds. Here we have admission beds. We see women coming here for ANC because this is our first visit in ANC units. Neighboring villages are coming here for many purposes.
The Zamfara State Ministry for Forestry, created by the Matawalle's administration, has secured a lot of interventions which is of great benefit to the state.
We have skilled interventions of natural resource. We have also skilled interventions of National Livestock Transformation Plan. And lately, the LPRES, which is Lifestyle Interventions Program by the World Bank, we have spent about 7 billion naira for Zamfara State. We have paid the counterpart funding. The state government has paid upfront. And we expect the Zamfara State indigenes to start enjoying all the benefits that will be accruing from this LPRES program.
Governor Bello Matawalle in the last 4 years revived the Zamfara State Investment and Promotion Company and has secured a lot of properties within and outside the state aimed at generating revenue for the development of the state.
For over 20 years that this company was established, this company has never witnessed tremendous achievements like the ones experienced or recorded during this tenure. Zamfara State Investment and Property Development Company Limited, a company, the only investment company owned by Zamfara State. For the 20 years of its establishment, it has no place to stay and call this my own. In fact, I've been moving from one rented apartment to another. When His Excellency Dr. Bello Matawalle came on board, and when I came on board as the MD, we took it upon ourselves that yes, we need to have a permanent apartment, a permanent place for the State Investment and Property Development Company. So we acquired this very property we are in, this two-story building owned by Zamfara State Investment and Property Development Company Limited under his leadership. But with the coming of His Excellency Dr. Bello Matawalle, and with his passion for investment, the name investment, the name Zamfara, echoed all over it. Zamfara State Liaison Office in Maitama, Abuja. The state has spent huge amount of money to put it back to shape during under his leadership. They invested a lot of money. So the Zamfara State Investment Company sees it that, okay, no, if we continue to just use this facility for lodging guests, of the state, this place will eventually collapse, and in fact, maintaining the place will be something different. His Excellency gave approval that that facility be converted into a boutique hotel, and that place is generating huge amount of money annually for the state. Similarly, it is under his watch that we bought some facilities in the same Abuja, so that we use them to generate, commercialize, or we use them to generate income. We purchased a hotel in Abuja, situated in Wusetu, purchased an estate in Abuja, all in the what? Quest for getting idea. Zamfara State is now topping the upcoming states in terms of IGR generation.
To bring people closer to the government, the Matawalle administration has built a governor's lodge in each of the 14 local councils of the state, created 2 additional emirate councils, constructed roads, and over 50 befitting mosques with world-class facilities, among other important projects.
He's a straightforward man, I know him, and who is always willing to see the welfare of his people. That is why he embarked on so many numerous developmental projects that touches the life of the common man. So I can, in a nutshell, I can say the 4 years of Bello Matawalle's administration is extremely exceptional. There is a general hospital being constructed at Talata Mafara with a befitting structures in Talata Mafara local government area. There are quite a number of mosques being constructed across the state. I cannot mention exactly the number, but quite a number of them. Even under my watch, I know we constructed over 50 Jumaat mosques in the state. That is quite commendable. Few of these are some of the that I can recall. There are quite a number. There are roads constructed. The Ruga project being executed in Maradu local government is quite enormous. All meant to ease the hardships being encountered by our people. The level of poverty that is being pronounced in Zamfara has drastically reduced, and that was the result of the program being introduced by Bello Matawalle. It is only this administration that bought over 1,240 vehicles for senior district heads. You can find out, is there across the board local government. Over 1,400 vehicles were distributed to the district heads across the board local government. The same gesture was extended to judges and caddies. They were all given those vehicles. So also, our first class AMS, Cadillac Jeep, were purchased for 18 AMS. So maybe the relationship is so cordial. How would he just expend such fund? So the relationship was quite cordial and they appreciate. Governor Bello Matawalle Maradun is a man of the people. He met about 17 emirates. He now created 2 additional emirates. I served almost under the 4 or 3 previous government. I served with all the government. Currently, I'm serving with Bello Matawalle, and I know what Bello Matawalle means as far as developmental projects are concerned. He has exceptionally done well. Time will tell. People will come back to tell you that Matawalle is the best. As far as I rated him as the best governor ever produced in the first state.
The Zamfara State Government House, Gusau, is another project the Matawalle administration has spent billions of naira to transform to a world-class masterpiece. It has 2 presidential lodges, the governor's residence and office, lodges for the 19 northern states, a conference hall, administrative blocks, and an ICT center.
The government house has definitely changed compared to some administrations in the past, particularly the security aspect. There is a significant improvement in the security, first of all, because we have 2 CSOs, the police and DSS. We have improvement in so many aspects, particularly the structures and facilities. This very administration has introduced so many buildings as construction works in the government house. There are construction works presently going on. Some has already been completed. His new office and residence is under construction. Matawalle has constructed 18 houses for the 19 governors. Each and every governor in the northern states, they have their houses in Zamfara states. Then we have 2 lodges. One was commissioned by Malami, Minister of Justice, and the other was commissioned by the Vice President, Osibaju. We have very big conference hall in the government house that has the capacity of over 300. Then there is also a new office for the Chief of Staff. There is also one for the Ulama Council of Ulama. There is also a government house clinic. There is a residence for the residents, that is the doctor's residence. When it comes to security, all the 4 securities, that is the CSO, the DSS, the security police, the ADC, the chief detail, they all have their houses inside the government house to ease the security system in the government house. When it comes to vehicles, convoy, Matawalle has enough vehicles. There's also a filling station in the government house that can take more than 40,000 liters of diesel and petrol at the same time. Then there's also a cafeteria that staff used to go and eat in the government house at the same time. There is also a swimming pool, which is under construction presently. Within this short period of time also, Matawalle has constructed a very good road network within the government house. There is also enough water, because motorized boreholes, I am sure we have more than 10 to 15 boreholes within the government house for the services of the government house also. We have a mosque there, but it's converted now to Jumat Mosque after the completion, with the capacity of over 300 to 400 worshippers. And at the same time, there is also ICT. ICT is constructed in that government house with the capacity of 300 to 400 laptops at the same time.
The Zamfara State House of Assembly complex, which is of international standard and one of the best in the country, was also constructed by Governor Bello Matawalle.
We meet it in a very, very bad condition at that time. I could even remember, immediately after swearing me as the speaker and after I sworn my honorable colleague as members of the President Assembly, many people across the part of the country are calling good people of the President, asking them, is that house of assembly in Zamfara or a veterinary clinic? Within possible time, the atmosphere has been changed. We have the filling station. We have a very modern chamber, which is, I think, in the northern part of Nigeria. I don't think there is a good chamber than our own in the Presidential Assembly. And we have a good offices to all members and the staff. And committee rooms, we have about 3 committee rooms and sitting rooms. Apart from the committees, as I said, we have very potable water supply. And our mosque where we used to go and pray between the staff and the members of this assembly is also a very nice one. And part including the art force of the police, where even any case, single case or more case, we used to, report with the security, and the security used to address it with the immediate effect. We have the clinic also, and we have even the ICT. To mention a few, many things between our offices and the staff offices and the parking space all over. Even the guests who come to the House of Assembly, there is parking space for our guests, there is parking space for our members, there is parking space for the staff.
The 4th Zamfara democratically elected governor, who has passion for the youths and women, appointed over 2,000 youths in his government.
Governor Bello Matawalle, in terms of youth, he sponsored over 200 people to study various courses in different countries, Cyprus, India, and Sudan. Less than 200 days in office, he create a very good program which is called ZASIF, Zamfara Social Intervention Program, where over 3,600 youth benefited with 10,000 every month. And in terms of women, we youth gonna miss Governor Bello Matawalle.
Despite his tight schedules to deliver the dividends of democracy to his people, Governor Bello Matawalle garnered votes for the APC presidential candidate during the February 25th presidential election, which led to the party's victory.
Bello Matawalle, did well in delivering the entire Northwest, the largest zone in the country, to the ruling All Progressive Congress in the last or just concluded general elections. We worked hand in hand with him, so I witnessed firsthand how hard Bello Matawalle worked toward the success of Ashwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president-elect. He was a member of the House of Representatives for 3 consecutive times, and then a governor of a state. So I don't think there's any responsibility that such person cannot, handled or cannot deliver. So he deserves to be rewarded.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu considered Matawalle as his son. And I believe he would want Matawalle in, not out.
Some civil society groups have commended the governor for his giant strides in all sectors, especially security, health, education, agriculture, youth and women empowerment, among others. They also speak on the just concluded governorship and state assembly elections in Zamfara.
We have seen the general renovation of some, hospitals in Zamfara state. The maternity somehow antenatal is free, which see approved by the governor of the president in order to ease the hardship. So also we have observed the engagement of some clinical and resident doctors. Okay, it's promotion, prompt payment of salaries. Also, another observation that the center made is the issue of recruitment of nurses. We have seen the engagement of additional teachers in the state primary education.
We experience a lot in the elections, and we see so many things. Throughout the election, both the presidential and the gubernatorial election, I was in Zamfara. I was moving nooks and crannies to all parts of Zamfara to see how the election holds.
Of course, there are some irregularities. Even though this election was perfectly okay, some people were supposed to work on a neutral ground in favor of the elections to be peacefully conducted. But due to the factors of other, let me use this one, idiosyncrasies that had happened during the elections, so they were favoring other parties like that because of the amount of money given to them. So this is some irregularities I just see and I witness. This I can account it even in the day of resurrection that I see it with my own eyes and I confirm it.
Governor Bello Matawalle, popularly called Dodo, will be greatly missed by the good people of Zamfara state, but his landmark achievement will also and forever remain indelible in the minds of the people.